Welcome back. This video is Chapter 5, and now we're on the other side of the fence. We are purchasing the merchandise. As you know, you can't very well sell merchandise if you don't purchase it before, right? So we're going to go through some of the situations and scenarios of purchasing merchandise, and so let's get right with it, and let's go back to the kid company, set up the problem. Again, we're going to initially here show the purchasing merchandise for resale, and on September 2nd, Kid Company purchased merchandise for $8,000 under credit terms of 210 net 30. FOB shipping point, and the invoice is dated September 2nd. Again, where students typically get mixed up in Chapter 5 is they tend to forget, are we making the sale, are we the seller, or are we the buyer? Well, in this case, we are the buyer. We're buying the inventory. And a couple things to make note of. The supplier is offering us terms of 210 net 30. So if we pay within 10 days, we get a 2% discount. If not, the net amount or full amount is due in 30 days. Also, who pays the freight? It's FOB shipping point. And when it's FOB shipping point, that means the buyer pays the freight, and that's us in this case. Okay, we need to make a journal entry here for the purchase. So on the next slide, you'll see our initial journal entry where we debit merchandise inventory, the asset, merchandise inventory, for $8,000, and credit accounts payable because we have a liability. We owe $8,000. The next scenario comes up on the next slide, and it is dealing with freight. We have to get the $8,000 worth of merchandise to us, or it doesn't do much good, does it? So the next scenario is that we paid $120 cash for freight charges of the September 2nd purchase. And keep in mind that most likely we bought the freight from a shipping company. We didn't pay the $120 to our supplier. We probably paid the $120 cash to a shipping company. The next slide shows the journal entry for freight, and we're just going to debit merchandise inventory. Do not debit freight charges or something like that. Debit the merchandise inventory. If you think about it, isn't freight part of the cost of getting the inventory in usable condition? It's just part of the cost of obtaining the merchandise. The merchandise, it doesn't do us any good if it's not out on our shelves. And so we've got to pay for transportation to get it here. So for freight, debit merchandise inventory, just like we did when we bought the inventory. The next slide shows the next situation here, and what do you know? We have a return. We are returning $50 worth of goods. Apparently we got something wrong with $50 worth of the merchandise, so we talked to our supplier, and our supplier okayed us to return $50, so we received a $50 credit memorandum for the return of part of the September 2nd purchase. All right, we're just going to reverse our original entry for $50 here. So on the next slide, you can see that we just simply debit accounts payable. We're reducing our liability. We're obviously not going to pay for the returned goods, are we? On the other hand, we don't have the returned goods anymore, so we have to credit merchandise inventory for $50. All right, next slide shows the next situation. We want to pay within the discount period. On September 11th, we paid the full amount due of the September 2nd invoice. September 2nd invoice, the terms are 210 net 30, so we are within that 10-day discount period, so we need to get a 2% discount. All right, again, put me on pause, and I want you to figure out, what do we have to pay this thing off in full as of September 11th. Okay, looking at the next invoice, or the next slide, you can see that we figure out the discount there. The discount is $8,000. That's our original purchase minus the $50 return. We do not get a discount on the return. Also, make special note here, we don't get a discount on the shipping. We had to pay the shipping, but that was with a third party. That was with the shipping company. We do not get a discount on that. Of course, we've already paid the shipping anyway. So to calculate the discount, $8,000 minus the $50 return times the 2% discount, and that's $159 discount. So we debit accounts payable for the full amount because we're fully satisfying that liability accounts payable. Then we credit merchandise inventory. You credit merchandise inventory for the amount of the discount, $159, and then the net amount is the amount of cash we have to pay, the $79.50 minus the $159 discount, so we credit the cash for $77.91. And so I hope this helps you deal with merchandising companies. Typically, these are the only differences as far as journal entries between merchandising companies and service companies.